Hello. I've spent the last half hour trying to set this up, or maybe hour, I don't even know anymore, probably hour, and I hope it works. Let's see, I think the sound should be fine. I'm using my iPhone for sound, for microphone, and let's see, I'll test the input sound as well. Just play something here. Should be okay. So, what I wanted to do is to stream me producing, and if someone can drop a comment and tell me if everything works, that'd be nice. I don't even know where I can see the comments here in the chat. Well, I don't even know where the chat is, to be honest. I've never streamed on YouTube before. Let me just try to open the stream. Aha! Here we go. I can see the chat and people are saying everything's great, it works. So nice. Let's go. Let me put the chat on the other window. Can I actually pop this off? Yes. Fire. Close this and this. Put this over here. Sweet. Then I will open Ableton. What I wanted to do today is make a Koki type bass line, like I don't know if you know it, but it's called Koki Goblin. That's one of my favorite Koki tracks, and it has this like really dark bass line and this sick wobbling. I'm just gonna play it from YouTube for you as a reference. And I'm gonna use it as a reference multiple times here. Okay. I'll put it over here. Koki Goblin. I know that Koki used a subtractor to make his synths, and I tried making it there before, and it worked out quite well, but for the stream I don't like using Reason because when I'm streaming, using Reason slows everything down a lot. So I'm gonna try to do it in Serum and Ableton, and this is what it sounds like. So there's a lot of pitch bending going on in here for sure. to keep that in mind for later. And I'm just gonna, I don't know what key this would be in, but I think it starts with E and then kind of goes up to F, like with a pitch bend. So I guess I would set the range to just 1. Or actually it goes down. Maybe from F to E. We'll just try it and see what happens. Oops. I feel like maybe actually I'll just play around with it. If anyone has ideas on how to get closer to the sound, feel free to put it in the chat. So it's definitely like a triplet flow. Oh, okay, there's no sound from Ableton. Let me fix that real quick. Audio. Oh boy. I can't see my multi-output that I have here. Ah, there it is. Let's see if this works. Can you hear it? I think you can. This should be fine. If it's too loud or too quiet, let me know. Ah, someone says it works. Thank you. Okay. Let's also put some basic drums in here. The drum rack. I think I'm gonna use some like hip hop stuff for drums. Or maybe I actually like a kit from Try Samples a lot. They have like some really nice free drums. This one sounds cool. Oops. And then it seems like in the original he's using like a rim shot as a snare. Something like that. And I am in Montreal because someone's asking in the chat. I'm not in LA anymore. Spending some time here in Montreal with my girlfriend. Let's see if I can find something here that sounds any close. I think that one sounds pretty cool. I just want it to be a little more mono, so I'll put a utility here. Make it just a bit more narrow. And then he also has this delay effect. Maybe I can just turn this down a bit and make it sound like that. Yeah, that should be right. I'm gonna play the track again to compare. See how it goes like dum, dum, dum. I I think a real delay would probably be better. Yes. Okay. So I think, what should I start with for shapes? Maybe with basic shapes. I don't know how the pitch bend would go. Kind of like that, I guess. Oh, it's also longer. Goes kind of like this. Oops. I'm trying to remake it for fun and then like kind of turn it into my own thing, kind of like as a learning experience, because I really want to sort of bring that style back. And yeah, like just I don't want to copy it exactly, but I want to know how it's done and then like kind of make my own stuff out of it. Yeah. And besides that, I'm never gonna get like that close to it anyways. I think he has like phasers on that for sure. It has that like weird sound to it. Maybe a saturator as well. It sounds cool, but definitely too squarey. Maybe I'll put a vocoder. I also, before this, I read a little bit on an old post on a dubstep forum, on the dubstep forum, I guess, where someone was asking how to make that synth, and a few people had like ideas, and someone was saying something about like using a frequency shifter, so I'm gonna try playing with that. And the vocoder basically has something similar here with a 4-man control, which might give me some cool results. there's also this frequency shifter that I could try. I can totally see how that's like sort of a Koki similar type of sound, like this. If I layer this with the original sound, like if I group it and then create a new chain, that is super sick. And then I'll put an equalizer on the wet signal, so to speak. We'll cut it. And I'll try what happens if I duplicate this and do it a bit more. Hello, new people in the chat. Head Splitter, Nucleon Dubs, welcome. I guess I'm gonna like try to layer this with the original again and then EQing the wet signal just to keep that bass from the original sound, because vocoder tends to like take away the bass. I might just stop trying to recreate that sound and just like do some weird stuff with a non-synced, non-BPM synced LFO. just kind of sucks that, like in Reason, I would take this LFO to modulate controls within other effects as well, but I don't see a way to do that in Ableton. Does anyone know if I can do that? I don't think so. I don't think there's like an external routing method. I guess I could do it with like, if I put the LFO instead of like using the internal one from here, using something like AutoPan. But then I don't think the AutoPan can modulate anything in here. Is there a way? Does anyone know? I haven't used this more than once. Oh yeah, this is how you use it. Macro maybe. Macro as in these macro controls. But it doesn't, I can only do this. But I can't like have this control the macro. That would be nice. Can I use AutoPan to control the macro though? I don't know what this does. Macros. You can do it with Max for Live. Yeah, I don't have Max for Live. I only have the standard Ableton, not the suite. I don't really like how this sounds now. So I'll go back to triplets. This is nicer. How's Montreal? Montreal is awesome. I love this city. It seems like you also can't set the LFOs in here to like, oh wait, maybe this. It's like, oh no, this is not even on. It's like not exactly the same as the triplets in here. The 1/12 is not the same as the 1/16 triplets. See how it gets like, seems to be moving, or maybe that's the pitch. No, actually it's fine. Did you learn music by yourself, or did you study in a music university? Your sound design is incredible. I did everything by myself. I started with FL Studio, and yeah, I just learned everything by experimenting, and I guess I've been doing that for 7 years now, and this is the result. I like the sound of that. Now let's see. Let's try how a delay sounds, make it like sound metallic. Rather than turning this up, I should turn this down because the master is clipping already. I like how that delay makes it sound metallic. Logan Field is asking, are you excited for Lunar Tide in Chicago? Yes, I am, because the lineup looks amazing. And I'm super excited to watch some other sets there. Reason or Ableton or FL, which is the best in your opinion? Neither of them is the best. I think each one of them has their own strengths. So if I want to work more with samples and work with audio, I like Ableton for that because of the way you can stretch it and warp it and stuff. Reason is really great for when you want to go crazy with CV stuff, like what I was talking about before, where you can route the LFO from one device into an effect from an effect device and stuff like that. And Reason has also really great synthesizers, and it's just really nice for experimenting with sounds. And then FL Studio has, I really like the granulizer, but I haven't been using FL as much in general, just because I like certain features in Ableton more that I use a lot, or in Reason as well. Let's see what happens when I turn this into audio. I do this a lot. I like render stuff out and then play with the audio. Like this. I think this part sounds really sick, not this part. The only thing, when I switch between Reason and FL and Ableton all the time, I like mix up the keyboard shortcuts all the time, like, because they're different in every program. So like in FL, to use the brush tool, you press B, and then in Reason you press Q for the normal select tool, I guess, and then in Ableton you don't have that at all, so it kind of gets confused. I kind of get confused about the keyboard shortcuts, and they're pretty important because it's like it improves my workflow so much to know the shortcuts. Am I going to play any shows in Europe soon? Yes, after Rampage I have 3 more shows and I'm gonna announce those soon in Europe. So I'm gonna do a little trip. You think you will be at Lost Lands? I don't know, I think they booked the artists already, but I haven't been booked, so I don't know if they booked artists already, I have no idea. I kind of like this little sound right here. Let's see what happens if I copy this over here. Now it's kind of getting out of hand. It's getting weird. Put this in the back and mess with this a bit more. I like this part. This. Maybe if I loop this. saturation. Sorry. That doesn't sound good. Let's see. What else can I try on this? Maybe some more vocoder. How would this sound if I layer this with the original and then modulate this? The original is too loud. Also, let me call this wet and this dry. Oop. This dry so I don't get confused. This is too loud. Sounds kind of nice. It kind of like rolls up to him. I kind of like that. Düsseldorf. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm also playing Cologne, which is not that far. I don't know where to go with this. See, now I don't like these drums, and then I'm gonna end up making rhythm drums again, and then it's gonna end up being a classic Infect track again, whereas I wanted to make something that sounds like Koki. So that's what always happens whenever I try to make something different. It's gonna be a little different, but then, I don't know, not enough. See, like, I think this doesn't sound heavy enough without a kick under the snare, and this extra sound is weird. And then it already sounds much better, but it also already sounds much more like myself. Like an Infect track. And doing this improves the flow, but it also doesn't sound as much like Koki, so it sounds more like Infect again. Do you process your drums or let them as raw samples? No, I process them like, usually especially the snare needs a reverb to fill up some of that empty space like this. For example, sometimes I put it like a delay on it. Before the reverb. So like, let's say every fourth time it hits, I would turn the delay on, and then just so it doesn't always sound the same, move this over here, and then duplicate these. Oops. Yeah, and then, for example, sometimes I put a drum bus on all the drums together. You can get that really nice, like, crunchy sound from that. And this boom thing, which like kind of adds a little bit of sub within the frequency that you select here, makes a big difference. And you can even see what key it is down here. So like if you have a kick on E, I don't even know what this kick is, doesn't even say. With the boom thing, you could add a sub in the same key. I usually just go by ear, but this helps especially when you have like a pretty weak kick. Like let's say if I go in here, I have some hip hop kicks. Like this one doesn't have a lot of sub, and so just if I turn up this, instantly get so much more like energy. Probably want to put a kick with a bit more highs. And then I add an equalizer here. Just makes it so much heavier. This one is too stereo as well. Let me make it a bit more mono. Yeah, cymbals is probably a good idea. Instead of adding more and more highs to the kick. But let's see what I have here. I found this pack on Splice recently that has like some pretty cool basic sounds for lo-fi hip hop, and I've been using it for dubstep sometimes. Probably a bit of reverb on the hi-hat as well. And I also don't really like it when the hi-hat is like already kind of stereo. I like having a mono hat and then putting some reverb on it to make it just a little bit more stereo. And then boost the highs on the snare a little bit. Cut the lows. Maybe also put a little bit of a fade out and shorten that. Could also try to layer it with a clap. This one sounds cool. Oops. Sorry. I've only put it on the first one, obviously, I need to put it here as well. See, like, when I get used to doing it in FL Studio, like, I have my patterns there, so whenever I change something in one of them, it changes across all of them, but in Ableton it doesn't do that, so... Sometimes I forget. This is also way too stereo. Way too wide. Let's put a reverb on that as well. I haven't saved it at all yet. The collab, no, it's not a collab. The YouTube live stream project. Cool. Let us. Oh, I like this so much now. Let's do some side chaining. Put this return track, and I have this like little bass processing preset chain here that I made myself. It's basically just to make things a little bit easier for myself, a little bit quicker. That's one thing I like about Ableton. I can just like build my own stuff and then save the rack and reuse it on another project. So basically what this is, it's a main and a sub chain. The main chain is basically divided in main and reverb, and what the main has on it is an LFO tool, which kind of like every time the kick hits, it brings the volume of the synth down by a bit more than 50% here. And then it also has this equalizer, which is just a low cut. So I usually send my synth into that chain, and then it splits it into sub and mids and highs. So this is the mids and highs one. And then there's just a utility just so I can turn it up and down. Then the reverb is basically just a wet signal of a reverb, which I don't use a lot, so I'm gonna delete that here. I'm actually gonna delete this rack here. So it's just main, which is the highs and mids, and then there's a sub, which has an LFO tool on it that brings the level of the sub down to 0 while the kick hits. And if I have a longer kick, I can adjust this to bring the volume down for longer. And then it has this high cut, which basically just is the opposite of the other one. So it's only everything below 100 hertz. And a utility, and this one, I don't know why it's there. It's basically just for the low cut here, so it cuts everything below 20, which is like something that's not audible to humans anyways, so I just cut it away. But it's not really that necessary here. I don't remember. In some case I used it to, because a synth that I had a lot of stuff below the 20, and I just cut it to clean it up. What's my favorite VST synth for basses? I guess Serum for VSTs, but to make basses, I really like Maelstrom in Reason a lot, which is not a VST because it comes with Reason. It's just one of their racks. But like, what my synthesis comes down to is like post-production, like whatever I do after. Well, post-production sounds like movie stuff, but like the post-processing, because I put so much FX stuff on my synths and then like render them out, stretch them around, that it doesn't really matter what synthesizer I use. So like, I could just use a basic synth with a square wave and then stretch it around, put effects on it, and it's gonna sound nothing like that anymore. So it doesn't really matter what VST I use. channel. Synth. I'm gonna send this into the send and audio to sends only, which is the send is my bass processing channel, so it's gonna sound like this. Here is the normal, and then here we have the sub. The mids and highs here, and the sub down there. So it's basically just splitting it. And then I need to route the kick into the LFO tools. So I create a new MIDI channel, select drum rack, kick. So basically it takes the kick from the drum rack and sends it into the bass processing LFO tool, and then monitoring on. Then I duplicate this and send it into the second LFO tool as well, which is the one on the sub. And now I usually like move these to the top because I don't really need them. They're just there to send the MIDI, but I don't really need to do anything with them. This is nice because I don't have to make like ghost kicks here to sidechain stuff. It just does everything automatically. So whenever the kick plays here, the sub and synth and like mids and highs volume is getting pushed down. So we can see this here. Every time the kick plays, it just goes through this thing once. Riptide Force says, I love your drums. Thank you. I just made them here. There's this like clicking sound at the beginning of this which I don't like. See if I can fix it. This might have fixed it. Need a haircut. Who are you to tell me if I need a haircut or not? My hair is wild, I like that. It's just like, it looks weird with my headphones, I agree. Oh, you're asking. No, I don't want a haircut right now. But thank you. I'm thinking about what else I can put on this. Let's try a filter delay. I haven't used that in a while. Turn these off. Oh wait, this is the wrong channel. I don't want this in the drums. I feel like plugins like this are kind of unnecessary because like what I can do is just take a simple delay, make a chain, have the original sound, then put a filter on this. And then I basically have the same thing as this. And it took me like just a few seconds to set it up. And they have like a few of those in Ableton where I'm just like, I don't see the point. Feels like it needs a bit more high end. Yeah, I guess so. I guess like a bit crusher. Sounds nice. Six hours later. I don't know. I'm just messing around. What are your favorite music producers right now? Rhythm wise, I would say Jamba, Spas. A few more. Akira, Ominous. I like those a lot. And then I also listen to a lot of other music. For example, I recently found this guy on SoundCloud called Weird Inside. I don't know if it's a guy, but it's really good music. And then I also listen to a lot of deep dubstep, like Kaza, Samba Jokes, Headland, and more, which I really enjoy. Yeah. And I also listen to a lot of other music on SoundCloud, like trap and wave and heavier dubstep and everything, different things. You can go to my SoundCloud and look at the things that I liked, and you'll see a lot of things that are nice. Where did this go? I feel like that might be cool. Oh wait, can I not set this to dry only? Seems like I can. What about yin yandy music? That's my girlfriend. But she makes music with GarageBand sometimes, but she hasn't recently. She makes a lot of like super catchy melodies, and sometimes I have them stuck in my head all day. Can you show look and feel menu? What does that mean? Oh, I like this. Can you keep the stream up? I don't really know how it works on YouTube, but if you can just save it and then keep it as a video, I can do that. enjoy how OTT sounds on this. I just don't really like using it that much. Hey, what happened with my pitch? Did I have it set to 3 just now? I guess it gives it some nice, makes it sound a little more full. Let's see. Where did you play your first set? In Cologne. Finally, I can see one of my favorite producers do his work, man. You're my inspiration. Thank you. I hope you enjoy watching this. I think the sound turned out really nice so far. Do you still try and upload a tune every Friday? No, I don't. Not anymore. I try to focus on tracks more now and make the intros more memorable and just spend more time on them in general. And even though I probably still make 1 or more tracks per week, especially when I have time to do so, which I sometimes don't. But yeah, I just think I want to focus more on my releases on Spotify and that rather than pumping out tracks every week on SoundCloud, because I feel like they're less, they stay for such a short amount of time. I upload a track and I feel like a week later it's already kind of lost, whereas when I actually take time for release and build it up and then have some proper artwork for it and everything, I feel like it has a lot more value. I just turn knobs and it gets messy. I keep playing with wet and dry till it sounds cleaner. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing as well with OTT. That's why I like using just the normal dynamic multi-band dynamics instead of the OTT, and then just messing with these controls. Let's say if you want to compress the highs a bit more, you turn this. Yeah, I just feel like this way you have a lot more control over it. It sounds a lot less harsh. And yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you guys agree with what I said. Makes me happy. just keep messing with this, I guess. Also, I'm so happy that I finally managed to set up like the internal audio being streamed through OBS and the microphone, which is my iPhone, on a Gorilla Pod. And I think the sound is pretty decent compared to like the internal audio of my MacBook. And yes, I am glad I got that set up, and now I feel like streaming more often, because before that was just a huge pain, and every time I wanted to set something up I got frustrated. So yeah, I'm happy now that everything works. Maybe make erosion flengy. That might sound like something. It could, but the issue is that I can't really set it like to be all wet so that I can put effects just on the erosion, so it would affect the entire sound, which kind of sucks. Also, I'm really thirsty, and I made this protein smoothie earlier, which I'm gonna grab real quick, so I'll be right back. Oh, what headphones am I using now? These are Beats Solo 3 wireless, but I have them wired, because my other headphones that I usually work with, which is Sony WH-1000 XM3 noise cancelling headphones, they're dead. So I had to charge them, and I wanted to use these in the meantime, because they sound pretty nice for producing. But yeah, I'll be right back with smoothie and water. Let's go. Oh damn, I let this stand around for a little too much. Let me get a spoon. Sweet. This is kind of thick. I should probably mix it with some. Deodorant, antiperspirant, or both? Antiperspirant is really bad for you because it has aluminum in it, which is bad because it clogs your pores, and your pores are meant to put the toxins out, but when you clog them, your body can't put the toxins out. So deodorant is a lot better, and I like using a natural one which doesn't have chemicals and stuff like that. So this smoothie has berries, strawberries, blueberries in that, and some water, some protein powder. And I don't really like the taste of the protein powder, but cheers. Actually, let me drink some water first. Do you plan on doing more streams in the future? Yes, I do, now that I have everything set up. How long have you been vegan? It's been a year now, since January 15th last year. We talking soft, medium, or hard bristles on the toothbrush? I have a toothbrush with a really big head, and it has extremely soft bristles because you don't want to damage your gums. So, yeah, soft bristles. Was it hard being vegan? Not anymore. I mean, it was a bit, especially when I went vegetarian, which was 3 years ago, it was a little hard to get used to because whenever I wouldn't eat meat, I felt like it wasn't satisfying to me, like the food that I had. And then after a week or two, that feeling went away and veggies would satisfy me just fine. And then when I went vegan, it was just kind of hard. Like, let's say when you want to go out with friends and you can't just go anywhere, you have to find like that specific place that has vegan options. But at home, my girlfriend cooks for me a lot, and she cooks amazing food, and so we go buy veggies together and stuff like that, and we buy vegan cheese sometimes just to make it a bit more tasty. You can make sauces with all kinds of seasonings and like tahini based or whatever. There's some really amazing vegan food. And I've also discovered some really nice new foods ever since I went vegan, because usually when I travel and I find a vegan restaurant, they're really nice, and I found some amazing like new foods and different foods. Did I get those stems Kurptas sent me? I don't know what stems, to be honest, but where did you send them? What got you into producing all those years ago? I actually recently filmed a little video that I wanna upload sometime soon, where I talked a little bit about how I got into producing and into dubstep, but basically I got into producing because my dad found this software, FL Studio, and he told me, look at this, you can make music with this. And I installed it because it seemed interesting, and I played around with it, and I only made really silly stuff at the beginning. And then I started getting into dubstep, and I wanted to make that myself. And then I learned the software by experimenting with it. I used a lot of presets in the beginning, then I started to make my own sounds, and yeah, over the years that's how I got into it. I actually feel a lot better now as well that I just eat vegan food always, and first of all because of my conscience, because I feel like I don't depend on animals being harmed anymore, and also about my health. Like, it feels so much better when, even if you don't necessarily feel that, like how some people say you suddenly feel like you have so much energy and whatnot. When you're young, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but it just feels better knowing that I'm eating food that is good for my body, because how does your body like how does your body grow? Where does it take those things from? From your food that you eat. So if you eat good food, I feel like your body will also be more healthy in turn. Yep. So I would rather have my body live on energy that comes from good and real food rather than from like fast food all the time and stuff like that. Wardable Music says, I'm currently trying out that one Headspace app you recommended over at Instagram. To be honest, it's really neat so far. Yes, Headspace. I'm not sponsored or anything, obviously, but nobody sponsors me, to be honest. But Headspace is such a nice app because whenever I feel like I have some like bad thoughts all the time or something like that, anxiety thoughts, I like to open this app, and it's basically a meditation app, and it's like guided meditation, and there are a lot of good philosophies in there. Like once you start doing those courses in there, there are a lot of things that remind you to kind of like not, whenever you get thoughts, it's not really like what defines you as a person. So what defines you is how you interact with those thoughts and how you turn them into something that you do or say. So the app kind of teaches you to have a certain distance from the thoughts you get in your head all the time, and to kind of label them without hating yourself for having them in the first place, if that makes sense. So like you kind of just watch your thoughts as they come in and go, and it's just a way to like deal with your emotions as well. Like if you have angry thoughts, you can decide that you don't want to act on them, and that has helped me a lot in life. And yeah, I'm glad you guys like my old tracks still, but I personally don't that much. Like sometimes I go through my old tracks on SoundCloud and I think they're still nice ideas, but I just got so much better now, so I feel like I don't want to like be represented by those tracks anymore, if that makes sense. I want to like be my have my new tracks be the things that I stand for, sort of, because that's who I am right now. Did you attend a music school or something like that? No, I didn't. I went to high school and then I did an apprenticeship for programming for 3 years, and I only did 2 years, and then the music thing took over and I quit the apprenticeship and focused on music. It's kind of neat seeing how different you are from your signature sound. Meditation, vegan, very positive takes on life. Just, I don't know what that means. With dark, gritty, grimy sound design. Yeah, I think what it is that like whenever I feel angry or I have like bad emotions, I also put them out through my music. So like when I feel angry, I make dubstep, and it helps me like channel that emotion so that I don't have to be angry in life, and I don't have to treat other people with anger, if that makes sense. Rake says, I really respect that you keep your old tunes on your page even though you don't really like them that much. So many other artists just delete them while many people still like them. I feel the same way. Like sometimes I know that people still like my old music, and I still like old music from other producers as well. Like, and it would honestly hit me really hard if some of my favorite producers deleted their old tracks, just because I have such a connection with those tracks, and I still like to listen to them, even though they don't, and I understand that, but I don't understand why they would delete them, because it makes no sense. Like, I have unlimited space on my SoundCloud. It's not like I'm gonna run out of space if I wanna upload my new stuff. And the first thing people see when they get on my page is still my new tracks. But people who like my old tracks can still go and listen to those. So it only makes sense. Juxtaposed means like compared to, placed in comparison with. Oh, okay. I've never heard that. That's interesting. How do you say that? Juxtaposed? Is that right? Can I make you some crypto cents and send you a Dropbox link or something? Yeah, sure. Send it on Instagram, please. Or email. I agree with Foxchild. You're a very happy boy. Nice. I know you'll be playing at Rampage this March, but can I expect you at Rampage Open Air? No. I won't be at Rampage Open Air. I think every artist announced it already, if they're playing there or not, but I don't know. I'll be playing Rampage, and then 3 more shows in Europe, and then that's it for Europe for this year as far as I know. How did you get into Disciple? So basically, I was playing shows in Europe almost every weekend, and then I released Orgelorg with Disciple because Dubloads. I sent my music to Dubloads sometimes because we talked on Skype sometimes, and I guess he showed it to his label, which was Disciple at the time, and they wanted to release it, so they did. And then a couple months after that, they offered me to manage me, and that's how it happened. And yeah, if you listen to my first few tracks that I made, it would also be like cringy, I guess. But we all have to start somewhere, and back then I didn't have anyone who knew me, so I still uploaded everything to my SoundCloud. And yeah. So I kind of just grew by getting better and uploading everything on my SoundCloud, and that's how people found me. And I've had my SoundCloud since like 2011, so it's quite a while. Wardable Music says, I suppose you like Adventure Time a lot. Yes, I love it. And I've watched everything twice now, I think. Except for the last few episodes, because the first time I watched it, they weren't even out yet. But yeah, I just love that show so much. Do you have any of those old FL silly tracks you made? I lost most of it, but if you scroll all the way down on my SoundCloud, you can find some early stuff. Sorry, I didn't see if you ever responded, but did a security homeboy give you a USB when you were in OKC? I don't think so. Not that I remember. When collab with Virtual Riot? I don't know. I would love to collab with him. I haven't really talked to him about it. But I love his sound design and his mix downs. And I really like the track Cry Some More. So yeah, I don't know. Do I like cymatics? I don't know. I haven't really checked out, like I never really went through their sample packs, but I guess why not? Any plans for the Elephant VIP? Song is so nutty. The one I play after the Elephant at my sets is not a VIP of it. It's an entirely different song, but it sounds a bit similar. It's an Obscurial special VIP, and I gave it away through my Patreon a couple months ago. Let's get back to this for a little bit. I really like how like this thing in the end sounds, even though it was just kind of like there, and I decided to change it around, which is what the first half is now. But then I still kept this, and now that I just played it again with all those new effects on it, it sounds nice, so I can keep it. I'll also get rid of this old snare here. Maybe I could use it for something. Let me delete it from these. And also get rid of that delay on it. Could put it here, for example. Alright, I'm signing off. I gotta go to class. Will this live stream be uploaded after it's over? Maybe. I don't know how it works with YouTube, but if I can figure it out, I'm gonna put it up, if you like. How do you find vocals for your tracks? I don't really use that many vocals, but usually I get them from Splice. I just like type in random things and then I find them. Or, for example, in the case of Captain Crunch, I recorded my voice, put effects on it, and that's where it's from. The elephant vocal was probably from Splice. Let me see. Oh no, I remember. The elephant vocal is from a sample pack from this native instrument thing called Iris 2, which came with a bunch of samples, and there were like different toy samples in there, like from kids' toys, and one of them said the elephant. smoothie is so thick. To mix it with more water. Oh, this sample is sick. Let's see if I can fit this in there. Is clipping. Also, one thing to note is when the channels like these ones are clipping, or they go in the red here, it doesn't matter so much because the way these modern programs work is they work with 32-bit something. I'm not that technical, but I know that it doesn't matter because they technically go almost infinitely, so it doesn't clip them off at the 0 dB limit. So the only thing where it's important is the master out, because that's where it actually gets clipped at 0. So if you put a utility here and turn the gain down, no matter how much these channels are clipping, you should be fine. The only time when you run into an issue with this is when you want to export stems, because then these channels matter, because it never goes through the master, so it doesn't go through the channel where it does turn the volume down. So yeah, I'm not planning to make stems of this, but if I ever did, I would have to like put a utility on each channel with like the gain just turned down and copy it to every other channel before I render it out. So yeah, that's just a little side note. I did not start on Ableton, I started on FL Studio. I kind of like this erosion sound, but at the same time I don't. So, I don't know. Oh, also give me a second here. I need to go to the bathroom. So, I shall be right back. chair producing rhythm. Yeah. He makes some good music. So I wanted to get rid of this erosion somehow and find a cooler way to get some highs in there. I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't really like the sound of it. It sounds like Bit Crusher. What's the Bit Crusher and Ableton called again? I can't find it. Redux. That's it. The clock behind me started melting. Sure. I actually took out the batteries of this morning because I hate when there's a ticking sound. I need peace and quiet without ticking sounds. Yeah, I don't like that fuzzy sound too much. That doesn't sound really nice. Oh, it's because when it shifts the frequency, the sub is like the loudest thing. But it's interesting to see like how it actually like shifts the frequency when you play with this. That sounds like a phaser. Well, I guess it makes sense. Can you put the camera a little more up, please? We don't see the FX chain. Really? This whole time you haven't been able to see the FX chain? Is anyone else having this issue? I could like resize the window to be like this. Others can see it apparently. Just part of it. What if I... Can you see it like this? Or is it like this side that you can't see? Oops. Oh, you just can't see the part where I have the oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I could put it like here, but then it's probably gonna be in the way of something else. Maybe like right here, so you only can see like the bottom section of the samples, which doesn't really matter that much anyways. How about that? If I put it like this, it looks like it's part of the software. Ooh. Ableton now has inbuilt face cam. booked in Eurokines Festival in July. No. Nothing more in Europe other than Rampage and those other 3 shows so far. But see, once again, like, I started out with a really basic synth in Serum, which sounded like that. Well, without the effects on it, it would sound even worse. Let's turn everything off. Can I not do that? Okay, I guess I'll do it manually. So it doesn't matter at all, like, what synthesizer I use. That's all it was. And now it's this. Sound now. Oh, this part is cool. If I like stretch that to be like this. And then move this part a little bit. Sort of. Let's see how it sounds with drums on it. Like, what I thought was maybe put this and then kind of like this. copy this part right. What happened here? Okay. I like that. Let's see what the pitch is on these. See you soon, VL. Hope you enjoyed it. And a laser's type of sound would make people go crazy. Like if just a laser sound. Let's see. This one sounds cool. I have an idea. If I put this, these kind of like this. Go like kind of let them go along with the sin. I think these ones are the same. that sounds sick. Now let's put some fades. Especially on these, just so it doesn't click. That was a nice idea, sir. Wave Recordings. Thank you. It's kind of wide, so let's try to... Oh, did it? Now I kind of want to have that from the start. Either that or a longer version of the bass for a switch up. Oh, like that's what you meant. I don't like those much. I know what you mean, like those. I'm not a big fan of those. Oh. Sorry. You mean like, I thought you meant like, you know what Subfiltronic used to do in his like more recent tracks where in the switch it had like a beep 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 diddly diddly synth. I thought that's what you meant by lasers. Is it not? I mean kind of like, oops. If I pull up a serum here. And then a little bit of FM. Okay, this is ridiculous. Sounds kind of cool. Peekaboo. Also, let me switch headphones real quick, because the pressure of these on my glasses behind my ears is really hurting. It's time for my favorites. They're so much more comfortable because they're over ear. Just switching them on. There we go. That's so much better. Alright, I think that sounds interesting. Yeah, I don't really know what else to do with it right now. I could try vibrato, I guess. I don't even know how to do it here other than just putting like a little bit of an LFO on this CRS thing. Of course. Damn, can you automate this? Can you? No. Oh, I can automate that. Sweet. I don't know if I should keep this. I feel like we kind of lost the bass a little bit. More flanger on this sound. Yeah. Hey, will you release like drum samples or something? I don't really know. Like, you saw how I processed my drums earlier, and I just feel like it's not really worth like releasing those because I use sample packs most of the time. AutoPen just does volume though. I think that actually sounds pretty cool. When are you coming to Argentina? I already played there one time. I don't know when will be the next time, to be honest. I think I'll end the stream pretty soon. It's been like... How long have I been streaming for now? Does it say it anywhere? Oh yeah, 2.5 hours. So, I hope you guys... Wait, do you still hear me? Yes. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It's been fun. I want to do this more often. Hundefriedhof says, einfach nur geil, was du machst, Junge. Danke dir. Ich komme auf jeden Fall bald in die Schweiz. So viel kann ich sagen. Yes, a little bit of German in here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I will be doing this more often. because now I know how to set everything up, and I'm proud of myself for that. I will enjoy this smoothie. It's not very good, I can say that much, because the protein powder ruined it. Pea protein does not taste good. Let me resize the camera here. Hello. I am now taking over your screen. Yes. Look at how this looks. Not very tasty, but because of the brown color. But yeah, it's very nutritious and healthy. So for health, to health. You have a good day too, thank you. Some water also. I also have my fingerboard here. In fact, collab with Yuki. Is that Yuki? Yuki, yeah. I haven't heard from Yuki in such a long time. I don't know where he is or what he's doing. I also have dates. Very delicious. What do I think about Getter's Visceral? I think it's nice that it's so versatile, and I think the production quality is very, very high. But I think all of the genres he did is like nothing new in any of them. Like, I enjoy them and they're cool, but I feel like I've heard that before somehow, just not as well produced. But he's definitely an amazing producer, I don't doubt that. I think this is the end of the stream. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet done so. See you soon. Also, watch my vlogs if you haven't yet, and maybe drop a comment. That would be much appreciated.